Across the globe, an estimated 350 million people live with a rare disease. They suffer from thousands of highly specific, largely ignored conditions. For decades, a rare diagnosis meant hitting a financial wall. The biological path to a cure often existed, but the capital to walk it didn't. These conditions became known as orphan diseases, medical problems abandoned by pharmaceutical researchers because the patient pool was too small to provide a return on investment. Patients were left behind because the free market deemed their lives a poor investment. Science was ready, but the business model was not. The math of drug development is unforgiving. Bringing a new medicine to market costs over $2 billion. If a disease affects only a few thousand people, it is almost impossible for a company to recover those research costs through sales. Even with funding, the small patient population creates a data problem. Because patients are geographically scattered, recruiting enough people for a statistically viable clinical trial is a massive logistical challenge. Genetic heterogeneity adds another layer of difficulty. A single rare condition might be caused by dozens of different mutations, meaning one disease is actually a collection of microcohorts that each require a specific approach. This economic blind spot meant that conditions like cystic fibrosis or certain muscular dystrophies lacked targeted research for generations. The pharmaceutical industry was built for mass production. It lacked the architecture to handle the extreme scarcity of rare diseases. By the early 1980s, it was clear that the standard market would never address these populations on its own. Curing them required an artificial rewrite of the rules of risk and reward. In 1983, the United States passed the Orphan Drug Act. This was the first major legislative attempt to pull pharmaceutical companies into the rare disease space using federal incentives. To qualify, the law established a specific threshold. In the U.S., an orphan disease is defined as affecting fewer than 200,000 Americans. The European Union followed in 2000, setting its own proportional limit. A rare disease must affect fewer than 5 in 10,000 people. By legally defining rarity, these governments created a protected economic environment. Companies could now justify clinical risks because the government was subsidizing the cost of failure. The legislation lowered entry barriers through push incentives, including 25% tax credits, and waived FDA application fees. The main pull incentive is market exclusivity, legally preventing competitors from selling similar products. This monopoly lasts 7 years under the FDA and 10 in Europe. The volume of drug approvals changed almost immediately. Since the act passed, approved orphan drugs grew from just 38 to many hundreds. Government intervention de-risked the research. This turned the most neglected sector of medicine into a reliable profit center for the industry. Because the patient population remains small, these state-sponsored monopolies encourage companies to extract maximum revenue from every available patient. This has led to value concentration. A single course of treatment for a rare condition can now cost hundreds of thousands of dollars per patient every year. Some firms have also found ways to use the law for existing drugs. By securing an orphan designation for a decades-old therapy, a company can obtain a new monopoly and significantly increase the price. Another tactic is salami slicing, where companies divide a common disease into smaller genetic subsets. Each slice qualifies as a rare disease, allowing the company to stack multiple exclusivity periods and block generic competition. In many cases, the policies designed to rescue neglected patients are now used to protect high-margin monopolies. This creates a direct conflict with healthcare sustainability. National health systems are struggling to cover the costs of these drugs, and in some regions, pharmaceutical spending is outpacing total budget growth. If the price remains too high for insurance providers to pay, the patients are once again left without the cures the legislation was supposed to provide. Closing corporate loopholes and addressing pricing models is the next required step to ensure these scientific breakthroughs actually reach the people who need them. The economic paradox of the orphan drug is still unresolved, but we have successfully moved from an era where these patients were invisible to one where they are the primary focus of advanced science.